Do you remember that glorious moment in 2023 when a clown won Britain's Got Talent? And then just a few days later, I got to interview him. It seemed like a coincidence, but was it? Join me today as we relive that wonderful clown-versation with Mr. Viggo Venn. Welcome to the Clown Spirit Podcast. And here's your clowntastic host, Mr. Barnaby King. Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's episode, which is one of those where we go back into the archives of the Clown-versations, which I began over 4 years ago and did over 100 of them. So it's quite hard to choose which ones I should be replaying. But in this instance, it's not a hard choice because this particular Clown-versation was quite special and iconic. It was the moment just after Viggo Venn had won Britain's Got Talent, and we'd followed him on his epic journey from the audition all the way through to the final, his courting of the judge, Simon Cowell, in a beautiful clown-like way. And these are all things we talk about in the Clown-versation. And I think it's a really great one, particularly for people who maybe have ambitions. They want to make a living doing it, or, get successful, be popular, be able to make a living from being a clown. Viggo, from the point where he first took his first ever clown workshop to winning Britain's Got Talent was 10 years. Which, I don't know if that sounds like a long time or not, but to me it seems pretty quick to go from knowing nothing and, spending years and years kind of on the comedy club circuit, doing just small clubs in Norway, in England, and then suddenly winning Britain's Got Talent and the kind of transformation that entailed. It's also really interesting from a technical point of view because we really get into the details. And if you want to watch those videos, I'm going to put the links in the show notes so you can check them out on YouTube, because it's really worth having a look at in conjunction with listening to this. You can also see the original Clown-versation on YouTube. The link for that is also in the show notes. Just a quick word to mention, this is particularly obvious on this audio podcast. The podcast was recorded with Viggo, as I mentioned, just a few days after he'd won Britain's Got Talent. And he was actually back in Norway and standing out on a balcony outdoors. So there's some wind and there's some kind of background noise. His phone is dinging and there's car horns beeping in the background and stuff. And it was just kind of all part of the ambiance. And so apologies for that. I hope it doesn't disrupt your enjoyment of listening to this really interesting podcast episode. So let's get into it. Here is Viggo himself.
Woo!
Hello!
Woo!
Yeah!
Hello. And hello, YouTube. Good to see you.
Did you like the delay there? It was a little delay.
Beautiful. Super
Viggo,
cool.
welcome. Thank you so much for coming and being on Clown-versations. It's so wonderful to meet you.
I'm so happy we scheduled this almost 6 months ago, and I really worked to make it worth it for you since then.
You did. You did it all for me, right?
Yeah. I wanted this to be really good and for it to be worth it. Because honestly, I was so happy when you invited me in January or something, because I love your conversations. And yeah, and I've done clown and I love clown. So really happy to nerd out about clown today.
Yeah, this is fantastic. Well, congratulations. Obviously, it's an incredible achievement. And we were all so, it was like the clown community was just kind of behind you every step of the way. We were all like following the next step and like, well, can he make it to the next step? And he did it. And the next one, he did it. And then the next one. I can't imagine what it was like for you.
I felt the same thing. I was like, another one? What? Exactly the same as you said. I felt part of the clown community. I was as surprised and as happy for clown as everyone. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? Well, what does it mean for you personally in your career to have won? And also, what does it mean for the clown community?
I mean, for me, it means everything. It's been so nice, but for the clown community, I feel like it's been a really good thing because one of the nicest things and people who really understand it is obviously other clowns. And under your post, I think I read some of the nicest things, but people like, oh, it's so beautiful, the timing, and like how you repeat one thing like an idiot clown would do. And that was what the best compliment I could get was like details about the performance, you know. I don't care so much about, oh, you're in this newspaper. I'm like, yeah, but I care about how long Simon sat with a needle in his hand before he understood that he needed to go and pop it. I thought that was amazing, for example. So I love those conversations about the material with other comedians and the clowns, especially because they understand.
Well, let's do that because I'm really eager to jump in and talk about the material. And I've watched it. I've watched the 3 acts, the round 2 act and the semi-final and the final. You know, I've watched them over and over again because it's showing different people. So, you know, there are certain details in there which you begin to appreciate and notice after multiple viewings. And
What's something that you stuck out to you or something you noticed? Because I had a chat with another clown. Dr. Brown sent me a message and he was like, he appreciated that it was like a story between the 3. If you put the 3 together, it's kind of a little story of struggle goes into romantic in the end or something like that.
Absolutely. And so my question is, you know, did you plan that out? Because it does build. I mean, it looks like you planned it, or was it like, oh, what am I going to do for the next one? I better figure that out.
Yeah, just to have said that, like I went on the audition because I gigged in, like I said to you as well, like I gigged so much in London doing 5-minute open mics, and I've been doing kind of shows with SAG in front of more people and stuff. And then I just won this competition, and I was kind of, someone approached me, and I was like, I'm used to the short format, 5 minutes, whereas clown is in a way beautiful over a long time, but I was used to the 5 minutes, so I went to the audition kind of as a joke, you know, like I thought it would be funny if I get X'd out, you know, this Norwegian guy on Britain's Got Talent comes with a vest. And then that's why I had the red vest under, because I thought when I get 4 X's, I'll reveal the red vest and be like, I knew it, you know? So I didn't think it would go this far, Barnaby. I had no idea. But I was asked by Britain's Got Talent, like, do you have a plan? So I kind of presented a plan, and obviously after the audition people reacted so much to how like this Simon was, no? So that's when I was kind of trying to figure out, like, what is it that people resonate so much about this? Because I thought my act was really funny, but people really like the, you know, the old traditional white-faced clown, the boss, and then the Auguste, the red clown, being a naughty, you know, and it kind of became that, you know. So that's why I continued with this story with Simon, you know. So at that point, I was like, oh yeah, it would be funny if everyone get a vest except Simon. Revenge. And then if I get to the final, he'll get a vest too. I thought that was my idea for the little story, and I thought that was really stupid.
So there was a moment when you everyone got the vest and put on the vests, and it seemed like there was one there for Simon, and then you kind of came down and took it and went up onto the stage with his vest.
Yeah. And if you're watching this on YouTube, and you should really start with the first audition clip, because I think if you watch the semifinal, it just looks weird and you don't get the humor. I think
yeah.
It's good to see it from the beginning. And then in the semifinal, the idea was that every single crew member, every audience member, and every judge except Simon Cowell would have a vest, because he was the only one who X'd me out. And the public responded really nicely, and the judges, other judges as well. But he didn't have a vest, and I didn't give him a vest, but he found one. So he was positive, and he kind of was just about to put it on, and this was not planned. The camera didn't know this. In my head, I was like, I just ran down the steps and grabbed it, you know? It was a pure impulse, you know? You train this impulse in theater school. Like, you have to act on that impulse. So I'm so happy I just ran down, completely breaking everything we ever rehearsed before, ran down and stole his vest, and
Yeah.
yeah.
And in general, was it very tightly choreographed with the camera angles and everything? You had to stick to it, or was there that possibility to kind of work in the moment a little bit?
Well, they obviously, it's for TV, so they need to know what's going on, kind of. But I was so pleasantly surprised of how good these camera people are, and how they know it's a live performance in the semifinal and final, at least, and they're like, it's live, let's see what happens. They're really, it's much less planned than I thought before. It's actually, the judges doesn't know anything.
Oh,
And
wow.
the camera people, they're just there to support and film you doing stuff. So I thought it's cool, man. It's actually real. So many people think it's rigged and stuff, but it's really not.
You know, there was definitely a question mark for me, like with Bruno saying Viggo saying Viggo instead of Bruno. It's like, oh, you could have planned that, and it couldn't have been better. You know, it was so wonderful.
I don't say this to anyone. I guess I'm saying it on YouTube, but I'm obviously very happy about the semifinal and how it went. But among us performers, I hope it's only performers watching this, it couldn't have been worse. Normally, if you say your own name, then it's so much fun. I have fun playing with your name immediately, and then you become happy, and the audience get this happy vibe immediately. So it really staggers a bit, because it happens, like, I would say 1 out of 50 times, because I've done this my name thing a little bit in stand-up shows, and it happens like 1 out of 40, 1 out of 50 times, less now than when I started doing it. And it really, the bit goes and then slow in the end. But if you just say your own name, then we can go flying later. So
that's interesting, because I felt like, yeah, no, that's super interesting. And you know, because you've had that happen before, you knew how to deal with it as well, which is also interesting, right? Because whatever happens, you know, you can rescue it, you can incorporate it back in. And
yeah, I mean, I never had it like that and with that amount of pressure, but I've had someone say Slim Shady, for example, and then I'm like, no, I'm not Eminem, I'm Viggo, you are, you know. So and I was just like, in my head in that moment, I can't believe this is happening now, live on my biggest opportunity ever.
I don't know, Viggo, I like that. Because when he said it and you were like, no, I'm Viggo, you got a big laugh, and he laughed. He was like, it's so stupid.
True. And one comment I've seen a lot online after is like, Bruno the new guy. That was completely improvised. Just came from.
That was great. That was really. Oh, it was great. So
I felt Grok sent it directly into my head, and I said it. And like, who am I to call Bruno the new guy? He's like he's a star, you know. He's been on Strictly Comes Dancing since the beginning in the UK. He's a star, you know. So
it was great, because Viggo, again, talking about the status of different clowns, he became the counter Auguste. He was even lower than you. So,
I know.
Great. It was
but
so
I was supposed to be under, and then in that moment, just like, no, I'm the boss here. You're the new guy.
And he totally went with it. He loved it.
Yeah, that was beautiful. And Bruno was in the audition. He was the first one who kind of started this. You know, I actually laughed, and if I laughed, then that's enough, and I like this guy, because, you know, maybe from doing clown, that sometimes people, they laugh so much, but since we are failing on stage, they kind of think it's bad sometimes. Where like, yeah, if you laughed and had a great time, then that's our aim in a way as a clown, no?
It was very nice. So even Simon's participation at that point was absolutely perfect, right? When he said cowl, it was like we were all like, what's he going to say? What's he going to say? Is he going to say something?
Yeah, I thought that was great. None of them said their name as it like the bit is very improvised and in the moment, but I have done it a little bit before, no, like as you would know. But I thought that cowl, so cool. He's so cool. I love that. I just saw him with big aviator glasses when he said that.
And the camera angles were so beautiful in that section, because they caught you when you came up, and you did that. Wow.
I know this one. cow. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I
the
thought that
camera
was
angle, and it was coming between two of the judges and just caught you beautifully in that moment. It was really amazing.
you know what? After the show, I went up to the camera guy who did that, and I hugged him long because I was like, "That so many people appreciate that." And then his friend was like, "Usually he doesn't get anything right, but this one he did." He was like, so happy.
So then in the final, I have a question about the balloon, because it seemed like it needed to burst for the bit to continue. But how did you make sure it was going to burst at that particular moment, or was that not intended?
Well, he burst it, no?
But the first one.
Oh yeah. It is a big mystery if that was on purpose or not, no?
Please tell us, Viggo.
It's a state secret kept by the Norwegian government.
Yeah.
But what I can say though is that we had rehearsals and dress rehearsals, and we had 4 rehearsals. And first one, the balloon, the green balloon, the one I actually climbed into, no, the green balloon, it burst immediately. I just got it from the side and poof, and that was the first rehearsal. And this is TV, so it's kind of like, okay, we have to go next act. And then that was one down. And then second rehearsal, it burst on my head, and it was just around here. So everyone in the crew was laughing. They were like, "Oh my god!" They thought it was on purpose because they've never seen me go inside the balloon.
Right.
So they thought, "Oh, so funny! He made a little tie for himself." Ha ha ha! But I was like, "Oh no!" And then that was rehearsal the day before, and then we have the day of rehearsal, and I got it here, and bah! It burst again. And at that point, I was just like, "Oh no! I burst 3 balloons. Like there's only 2 balloons left." So in the last rehearsal, I just said to them, like, we have to do it without the balloon. So no one had seen it, and it's just never worked, you know? And then, yeah, talk about semifinal. Bruno did something that was maybe not as I would have wanted. And then in the final, magically, it worked when it matters the most, in the final of British, my biggest show of my life, probably. The balloon worked. I could not believe it, because I'm not so good at it, and it burst maybe 1 out of 3 times for me. And then just that day before, and that day, it was like 100% burst. So
wow. Well, that is the clown gods. The clown gods are smiling on you for sure.
That was beautiful. I'm sure a lot of clowns would be like, they shouldn't burst that often. You know, you're a clown, you should be able to handle a balloon, but it does burst a lot.
I mean, it did seem like a to me a perfect failure when you bounced it down and it kind of caught on the corner of the judge's desk and burst, and it's like, oh, what am I gonna do? And you asked Ant and Dec, is this live? Oh, what are we gonna do now? And it just created this little like, oh dear, is he okay? We came to you, we came on your side, and then building from there felt really great, you know.
Yeah. Just to be clear, I'm talking about the final balloon never working also first.
Yeah.
But the red balloon, I really like that moment as well. I'm so happy about that moment.
Yeah.
And I think you know why it happened like that.
Yeah. So I've got some questions here which I'm just ignoring from people in the chat. So I need to pay attention to them.
There's a live chat here.
Yeah. So
great.
There's a question here from Samantha Chalk. Why did you wear sunglasses when dancing with Simon at the end? My theory is that you wanted to highlight Simon's clown through his eyes in that moment rather than showing yours. Ooh, interesting theory.
I love that theory. That's beautiful. Maybe you're right, actually, about that. Maybe I need to wear glasses so that Simon could shine, and also I'm wearing reflective vest, so it was a lot of me, so it was good to have Simon. But really, it was 1 hour before the live show, I told the costume designer, like, hey, Simon uses glasses all the time, no? Like, can you get some glasses? And they just sent someone running to get glasses, and I just told the dancer in the wing, hey, can you give me these glasses? Because Simon Cowell, you've seen him always on the red carpet wearing aviators, and I thought he looked so cool. So I was like, imagine me and Simon wearing aviators together. It would be perfect circle. Then we are truly friends, no?
Yes.
But I
That's-
agree with your analyzing. It was to see Simon's beautiful eyes.
And it was such a lovely moment. And presumably you didn't know if he was going to go along with that.
No, he was, as you could tell, he didn't get so quick. He didn't come so quickly with the needle. So absolutely, he didn't know anything. But what a sport and what a journey we've had. I think he is very intelligent and very funny and has a good sense of what people like. So I'm happy he liked me.
Do you think there's something about, because he seems to have a problem with comedians in general, right? Is part of the story is that if people being funny isn't something that he easily kind of enjoys. So there was this, and particularly clown. So there was this need to bring him on board and convince him. And to me, there was something about that journey that was also like symbolic of a bigger act of, helping people to enjoy clown, which tends to be misunderstood or put down in some way. So
I totally agree with you. But because like when me and Zach were in Australia, we were in we did Adelaide Fringe. We did our double act, Zach and Viggo, and we had a great show that everyone who saw the show loved it, which is how when I saw first the clown show, I was laughing so much, feeling so much joy, and like, as you know, Barnaby, it's the best thing in the world. I think it's the funniest thing and the most human and heartfelt thing. It has heart and funny together, and it's beautiful. But when we were out flying to get people into the show, it's like we got 5-star reviews and stuff, and then we were like, hey, do you want to see this clown show? And people are like, no, ew, absolutely not. And even just saying, hey, do you want to see some physical comedy? And like, no, I can't think of anything worse than going to see physical comedy. Right. So I'm really happy you said that, because Simon also famously hates clowns, and no one told him I was a clown. And I think also he doesn't hate comedians. He likes comedians, but sometimes you need to understand to enjoy, and then sometimes you have to let go and let absurdity just wash over you. And I think I'm one of those acts when you need to, you're like, what is this? And then you just realize life itself is ridiculous, and you start laughing.
So do you think he's come around in some way to clowning and understanding and enjoying even?
I think he still doesn't know. I think until this interview here comes on YouTube, no one really knows, except Norway.
Maybe he'll watch this.
Maybe. I hope so. Hello, Simon. Good to see you, my best friend.
Yeah, and you've already said what a wonderful sport he was and a great guy, intelligent guy. So that's nice. It's a good message.
But yeah, man, I actually do think that I'm happy I managed to convince him that it was funny. Because it wasn't planned. Like he genuinely did not like me or my act in the beginning. I just came out clapping, and he was like. Also, so many YouTube people say like, "What is this, a talent dancing around clapping?" I was like, I agree. That is pretty stupid. But it's something in the timing and in the fun later that's joyous, and has been, as you clowns know, it's been always there, clowns, no, and this mocking of everything.
Yeah, and as you said earlier, there is the fact that he was there, being the high status, disapproving one, was actually perfect in relation to this kind of circus duo of the high status white face or ringmaster and the low status August clown. I mean, it just was a gift for you.
Yeah, really beautiful, and created even more of an underdog situation for me, which was nice.
Yeah, we love the underdog, of course.
Oh, Joni Backstrom is on the chat here, an amazing clown from Finland. Hello, Joni, good to see you.
Joni, welcome. So a great question, which is something I wanted to ask you anyway, Viggo, moving away a little into more general things. From Mike, who were your first inspirations in the world of clowning and comedy?
Good question. I mean, like, looking back, you notice that, I noticed that my favorite comedians were always kind of charming, full-bodied performers, no? Like I remember growing up watching Øyvind Blunk, a Norwegian guy with kind of a character on a moped, and he was just so silly and stupid, and he was driving his moped into a Norwegian talk show and just completely walking around flirting with everyone, and like, I don't know if he calls himself a clown, but it's definitely that type of performance, you know. So I loved him when I was a kid, and I would do his routines and listen to his CD and stuff. And but what got me to take action and do it, because I think that's also a different thing. You have your heroes when you're a kid, and then I basically studied economics, and then I started a stand-up club because I thought I loved comedy and stuff. We decided in Norway, oh, we need to go to Edinburgh. That's where the best comedians are. We need to see the best comedians to learn. And then there was this like Norwegian comedians, Martin Beyer-Olsen and Lars Berrum. They were like, oh, you need to see this guy, Dr. Brown. It's like this mystical clown from the States. He has a show where he doesn't talk at all. And my friend, we were two people, and my friend was just like, no, I'm not going to watch a clown. Exactly what we talked about. He was like, no. And then he left to the hotel and had a beer, and I went to this clown show or comedy show all alone. And my God, it's the funniest thing I've seen in my life. I was just laughing from my belly, just like, whoa, you know. And then turns out he ended up winning best show of that year, 2012, in Edinburgh.
Right.
So it was a great show. And then after I found out where have this Phil Berger's Dr. Brown, where have he studied and who is this guy? So I took a clown workshop with him, which is really good. And then I saw his show again. And then some people on that workshop told me about the tradition of clown and also where he came from. There's like, if you really want to get to the bottom of this tradition, you need to go see Philippe, this old guy in France. Yeah, so that's I think that answers pretty good how I was obsessed after I saw that show. I was like, I could not believe it, how joyous that was.
Yeah, a great model. So you went to work with Philippe then? You went to Philippe's workshop, Philippe Gaulier?
Yeah, I basically I did this workshop with Phil first, and then I cried a lot because I wanted to be funny, you know. And I was trying to be stand-up, not really bad stand-up. And I came to Phil first, and it was a Clowning in Nature. It was in Wales, and it was hard. I didn't understand anything about clown or anything. And then I remember it was like on the third or fourth day, I didn't understand anything. And then I was on stage for 20 minutes, 11 p.m. at night, you know, so everyone's tired. I was just on stage trying to be funny, and he was just sat like this, like kind of looking disapproving at me, and the audience were also like, oh my God, this guy from Norway, so pushy, wants to be funny, like, oh, you know. And then I felt tears just like behind my eyes, you know. And that moment I remember it so vividly, because I remember like I'm strong, and and then that night, me and another Brazilian, he was like, I was 23 or something, and he was 55 years old. We sat on this field in Wales, just 3 a.m. at night, just both of us sobbing, feeling so sorry for ourselves, just like, oh my God. And he had a career of like 40 years of being a brilliant clown in Brazil, traveling around to schools, inspiring people. He had big shoes. He was working as a professional clown. So, and he was just like, everything I've done it in a strange way, you know. And we were crying and crying. And then the next day I wanted to go home, but I was stuck in Wales, you know. I don't know if you know Wales over there in the States. No? It's a little country with a lot of sheep.
They're difficult to get out of.
Yeah, it's a difficult place to get out of. You are stuck on the west coast of England there, or on the UK, not England. But yeah, anyway, I couldn't leave because I was on a farm. So I showed up, and they were like, okay, you're the last one. Okay, I guess I'll go. But I did not care anymore. So I was just like, I took a sock and made a mustache. I'm like, oh, is this funny, kind of? And then people started laughing because I was so open. Like, they knew I had a tough time before, and they could see that I was kind of defeated and deflated. And suddenly people start to like me a bit on stage, and then the laughter comes after they like, you know. And then something happens. So that's when I was like, oh, this, it's possible for me. And then after that, I decided to, well, long story short, I had to work for a year and live with my dad because I quit my job and studies to save up money to go to Gaulier, basically.
Let me take a moment to tell you about the world's first and #1 online membership for clowning, Clown Spirit Village. Maybe you're just starting to dip a toe into the clowning world and you're hungry to know more. Maybe you've been doing it for years and you want to take the next step, integrate it into your life. Maybe make a show or start clowning full time. Maybe you're an experienced professional looking to rekindle your connection to clowning, to challenge yourself to grow and evolve. Whatever it is, Clown Spirit Village has you covered. Let me just give you the headlines here. First, we have over 30 recorded workshops and masterclasses with experts from all over the world. People like Jeff Johnson, Hilary Chaplin, Holly Stoppett, Moshe Cohen, Sky DeSella, and more. Each month, there's a live Zoom workshop for members that gets added to this growing archive. Second, there's our Clown Spirit courses, Awaken Your Clown Spirit, The Clown Connection, and Create Your Clown Masterpiece. Each one is carefully curated to help you along your clown journey. And each of those would cost around $150 if purchased separately. Finally, we have our coaching sessions every week where you can come along and get advice and feedback on your own projects and goals. The truly amazing part of this is that you get all of that for a single all-inclusive price that starts at just $29 a month, which drops to the equivalent of $25 a month if you pay annually. But perhaps most importantly, by joining Clown Spirit Village, you're not just investing in your own clowning future. You're making change happen by contributing to a movement that is bringing clowning into the world to create more joy, lightness, and connection in people's lives. Check out the details at www.clown-spirit.com/village. We're waiting for you here in the village. And now, back to the podcast.
What was Gaulier like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I could talk about that for a long time. Yeah, why not? It's clown-versation. No, it's interesting.
We have 19 minutes.
Yeah. I'm aware that it is different traditions of clown out there, and I do hospital clown in Norway in vacations and stuff, and they have like their own 2-year training. It's only actors and performance artists who do it, and I'm aware of like there's Pachenko in Canada, and there's like there's Barnum and Bailey in America, and there's clown colleges, and there's many different traditions. They're in spiritual clowns and ritualistic clowns and stuff. But this was anyway Lecoq and Gaulier type of teaching. I just went straight to Gaulier, and he's still alive, and he was some 70 years old when I got there, and I went for summer school to be like, okay, I'll go there, just do clown, great, and then I'll be great comedian. And then yeah, you probably have heard about Gaulier. He can be pretty vicious.
I can imagine what comes next, right?
Da, da, da. But I thought it was so much fun though to be in a theater school, because I came from like studying economics and just trying to be a comedian. So I was like, whoa, you're just playing all day. It's just kind of, since I worked for a year and kind of went out of the I was kind of miserable also, so I was like made a choice to be like, now I'm going to do stuff that makes me happy, so I'm going to pursue this thing. And theater school is, yeah, it freed me up. It really freed me up. I thought I will never ever do anything I don't like the rest of my life, because it's possible to do what you like even with little money, and if your circumstances are difficult, you can still have fun, even if you have to shove shit behind the circus, shove the elephant shit. Like, you can have fun throwing that shit at your friend, like make a little castle. It's possible. So it just freed me up, and I had so much fun. So I decided like I need to spend more time with Philippe, because he is the funniest guy I ever met. So that's why I decided to do the 2 years, and I got a stipend from my my city in Norway to finish it off, because I ran out in the middle of it. And they helped me, and I met my partner. I met also Zach that I toured with, and a lot of friends. And I really just did not think it was a theater school also. Like, we did full mask, half mask, Shakespeare, Greek tragedy, and you learn so much during neutral mask about your own body, and you know, a fixed point in stuff that was like in my head now. For example, in the My Name Is bit in the semifinal, I do Bruno, Alicia, then Amanda, and then there's a moment when in my head I was like, it would be like this, when it's like just like looking at Simon to get everyone into the idea, or like, oh, he's going to do something now. And thank you, Greek Tragedy Neutral Mask, for teaching me how important it is. People need to see your face, you know?
Yeah. Beautiful.
So that was amazing. I loved the theater school.
And can you extract from those experiences a little bit of, for you, what is this essence that is clown? What is the journey that when you're teaching, you want to take people on to help them find what clown is for them?
Good question, and an impossible question. And also the question I'm almost pondering every day: what is clown? You know, I find it extremely interesting, and I just started to teach not on purpose, really. It was just Zach who's like, Viggo, you're teaching because you were a really good clown at school, so you're teaching a clown workshop. I'm like, oh, okay, because he was like, we need an Airbnb for the tour we're doing, and I was like, great. And then I discovered, since I don't speak English so well, better now than then, I discovered that the struggle I had was funny, and also that I know more about clown that I didn't know I knew. Have you noticed that when you've been teaching?
That you know more than you think you know?
Yeah, it's like you know it in your body. You just I never said it before.
Yeah. But you know what I also find is that, at least at first, because my teacher was Sue Morrison, my first teacher.
Cool, yeah.
In Toronto. And I did a lot of training with her. And then when I started teaching, I found myself just like, oh, that's something that Sue always said, like just repeating her words, like quoting her almost. And it took I still have phrases that I attribute to her, but it took a long time to really find my own voice in that, you know, what clowning was for me. So did you find that as well? Like you started to teach a little bit like your teachers?
Yeah, absolutely. I started a little bit like, but I've been with some great teacher, Aitor Basuri of Spy Monkey, a fantastic teacher. I went through the training at Hospital Clowns, which trains your sensitivity to a different level. And Dr. Brown, Mick Barnfather, all similar tradition, of course, to Gaulier and Gaulier himself. But what I found, though, I imitated a little bit in the beginning, but then you come out more and more, and instead of trying to teach someone something, it's just more to, for me at least, when I watch people, I get like a gut reaction, and then and then I basically try to drill in good habits in people in a kind of like a fun way. I think I really enjoy teaching my own workshops. If people have seen me, then they know what I am, and then they come, and then I'm quite strict, almost like Philippe, but it's so much laughter, because I think there's more to discover if you get used to getting a laugh and how you get a laugh. Then you need to go that way, you know. And I think sometimes teachers from that tradition can get stuck in the negative a little bit. I mean, believe me, it's I'm honest, and it's absolutely tough and horrible to be in a clown workshop. It's you should really want it if you want to go. But I think what the last workshops I've done, I basically set the challenge for myself. We had 5 days, and my goal was to see how good of a clown number can we do at the end of this. And it's usually really hard to make a good clown number over a week. It's impossible, I would say. But how much fun, how good can these people be at the end of this? Like, how much are we laughing on the last day? How much are they showing? How much of their imagination is coming in? So I just like went quickly through the basics, kind of like, okay, you move too much. So I'm just like instantly, you're not allowed to, you can't move like that. You need to then exercise making this guy, this stand-up who always like he walks around when he talks, you know, he's dancing around on stage because he's nervous. Like, no, you need to pretend to be an actor today and you need to stand still. So I do the basic stuff that they would do in Neutral Mask. I don't tell them it's theater technique or whatever. And then once that's kind of taken care of, I just try to get as much of their humor out. Because if you have good fixed points and you stand still and you speak loud enough, like simple stuff like that blocks so many people, and if your inner critique stop you, like if that's there, we need to get rid of that first, and then how to get your imagination out. And man, in the last 2 workshops I did, I don't think I will be teaching so much now after this, because I love performing and I only taught a little bit a year, but I think they were so funny about it. There were some moments that I'm like, this is the funniest thing I've seen. First, I need to say one thing. Do we have time?
Yeah.
Because I think you would appreciate this as well. There's an exercise where there's a chair on stage and you come in and the audience clap, no?
Yeah.
And it trains you as a clown performer to listen to the audience, to really listen. So the exercise is that the performer doesn't know what the position on the chair is, and then the audience knows the position, and they clap when the clown goes in the right direction. So as a performer, you can find this position. For example, if you're like searching, what do they like? What do the audience like? It trains you to listen properly. And then one guy in the workshop, Dylan, my good friend now, actually, he by mistake, he didn't go out of the room when we showed him the position. So he stayed in the room and he saw the position. And then the position was kind of sitting with folded arms on the chair, or like one arm up or something. So he knew he was going to sit on a chair. And then the first thing this guy does is like he goes in and then straight past the chair and they got a big laugh, because we all knew that he knew. And then he was like, oh, sorry, I did it wrong, kind of. And then he walked past the chair again and again and again. And then he looked at us and like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. We all knew that he knew. And then he went and sat on every chair in the theater. Like, he went to the front row and sat there, and we were like, oh my, no, what are you doing? And it was so funny. I could have never written a number like that. It was so funny and so stupid and beautiful, like this innocent guy just sitting in every chair in the theater. I will always remember that moment. I told him, so like, you're a really good, funny guy. You need to continue this way.
Yeah. Super interesting, that exercise. Do you ever do it without clapping? Just so I do like I put a bottle in the middle of the stage somewhere, and the person has their eyes closed, and the instruction is just to, with their eyes closed, to find the bottle. And the audience isn't supposed to clap or anything. They just react how they react, right? Yeah. So what you have is like even subtler sign. Like you have laughter, but you don't know if the laughter is because you're getting close or because you're really, really far.
But it's a good lesson, because that doesn't really matter in a way, as long as there is laughter. But
right.
So if you just miss it, people would naturally go, oh, you know,
Oh, and then you see this. You see the person kind of like with their eyes closed. They're like,
yeah, they stop when they heard something. Yeah, they're like,
yeah.
That's really cool. I love that.
There's something about the eyes being closed that can be super helpful with picking up these very subtle impulses and signs from the audience when we don't have to look. It's interesting.
Yeah. And a clown shouldn't be like a rock star just doing his songs. It should be like, it's about the audience and listening to what is happening here, you know? And that's really where the magic between the audience and the performer, we're really creating it together. It's not a one person thing or a team thing. It's like, it's happening. Something magical is happening in the room, or even if it's a balloon and a kid, you know, it could be that as well. But like, you don't like create the balloon, here it is the product. No, it's like you created, oh, this is the tail, you know, like you create it together. And it's so visible.
Yeah. Really, oh, you like this? Oh, I'll do more of this. Or
yeah. So that's the rule of clown. No, do more of what works and less of what doesn't work. No,
I love that. This actually I think it's almost answered a question already that just came in from Epifloyd. How important do you think it is to be able to read your audience as a clown?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I'm from a tradition. I guess Philippe and stuff is that is very important, but that doesn't mean it has to be audience interaction or you have to look at the audience all the time, because you could have clowns who was like, you like this, you like this, you like this. But I think to have the subtle listening, almost like you said, they can fumble around with the bottle and still listen. And listening also means, you know, in hospital clown they call you have to have your antennas really far out.
Yeah.
Means like not just listening, but looking who's in the room, what's here, what's the atmosphere, are they sad about, are they happy, what, like everything, you're almost how you feel, how they feel. So if we can call that listening, then even though I think it's more than just the air, you know, it's like feeling the audience almost.
And this is I want to make a bit of a leap here, because I feel like this listening is also a life skill, right? Listening to where we are in our lives and where we're called to. And I'm really curious, Viggo, about this moment in your life. Like, it's a big moment, right? Like this sort of potential to have a platform, to express yourself and be heard by more people, or to propel your career in a certain direction. What are you doing right now in terms of that sort of listening to? Do you have a clear plan ahead of where you want to go with your career, or are you sort of in a bit of a figuring it out?
That's an excellent question, and thank you for asking that, because I should think about that. So
okay, we can figure it out right now if you like. I can give you some coaching.
Let's figure it out right now. I'm definitely listening because in a way I want to continue with exactly what I did before, doing shows and teaching a couple of times a year, because I enjoyed massively to do shows everywhere and then go to Philippe and teach there, or like teach my own workshop or something like that. But I don't want to be just a teacher, but I think it's cool when performers are teachers. I learn a lot, and they get someone who perform. But so I definitely want to continue that. That's number one. Was a clown before, still want to be a clown. But you're speaking to me, this is live, but it also will be on YouTube. Like, just to be clear, like, this is the Friday, isn't it? And then it's Friday today, yeah. And on Sunday, like, what, 5 days ago, I won Britain's Got Talent. Like, it hasn't completely sunk into my head yet. So what am I doing? I think one thing I have done is that I've booked some really stupid shows to make me happy. Because my email is like 850 unread emails, like awesome offers from everywhere and every agent and manager. But like right now, I went to the Lofoten, you know Lofoten? Northern Norway, like the most beautiful part of Norway. My grandmother is from Northern Norway. And I live in England, and I've never been. I've been there once as a kid. So there was a stand-up festival who asked me if I wanted to come for €300, and
yeah.
And I asked Julia, who's also a brilliant clown with like, amazing clown shows and a whole career for her own. And I asked her, hey, do you want to go to Lofoten, like the beautiful place? Like, we get €300, and it was so completely stupid to do that now, because like I'm wasting time and money, but we will do that. And I'm really happy about that decision. And that I felt like, okay, in that moment, I didn't lose myself. So I want to continue to do shows and hopefully make more people happy, and do big shows and tour and do live performance. That's what I really love. So I want to do that.
So you mentioned like these 800 emails. So are people just like offering you all kinds of crazy stuff, and you're like, no, I don't want to do that? Or is it like cool stuff that you really want to do?
I'm not saying no. I'm just like, I'm a bit overwhelmed right now, and I'm like, there's a vest factories and high-vis factories who are like, we should do something there. I'm like, yeah, that's hilarious. That definitely, let's do something. And I mean, I haven't bought clothes in 6 years. I got this from Britain's Got Talent. They sold this for me, and I love it. So of course I would love to do a gig and make some money and buy new pants, you know. And a vest factory, that would be amazing. Who creates high-vis, and I get to go there and see how they make high-vis, and and maybe do something with them, and then also do a show around the UK is a dream. I want to go to great places like Liverpool and Glasgow and Hull. I want to go to Hull.
Hull's awesome. Yeah. And Edinburgh. You'll be in Edinburgh, of course, in August.
Yes, but I'm doing the midnight slot that I had before. I'm saying no to because now I got offered anything. So, but we're doing it at midnight in the same room as before, because I need time to play and see what I can do on a bigger stage. Maybe. I'm happy I got the experience from Britain's Got Talent, because that was a huge audience, and I'm like, oh my god, clown works in a way. We knew that. Like, there's great clowns, like Little Titch, this guy with the long shoes. He was like one of the biggest cabaret acts in Europe. He was the top paid big venue guy, so clowns have been there before, and maybe I could be there. I don't know. I'm happy either way.
We're kind of at time now, but I have the one little topic that I haven't been able to talk about yet that I'd like to ask you about, if you have a few more minutes.
I have my best friend comes in 15 minutes.
So Viggo, I wanted to ask you about your clown duos that you're part of, and how you work in those duos. I mean, I know of two of them in particular, with Julia and with Zach. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, I started with Zach, and we toured like 3.5 years, just us, 4 clowns in one bedroom, and we just went around the world and did as many shows as we could. So that was my beginning, and I really treasure that time and don't remember much of it. I really loved going around, and me and Zach sitting up all night trying to figure out if it's funnier if you have a tomato on your head or on your shoulder, like completely idiotic things we did.
I mean, there are some really, for folks who haven't checked this out yet, I would definitely recommend going to Viggo's website and having a look at the video tab there, because there are some very, very far out and hilarious videos, both with Julia and Zach. I feel like every single video that you've made, every single film, is like a huge production and creation in itself, like with completely whole, created characters that never appear again. You just make this character for this one film, and it's very fully realized, and it's brilliant. But they also,
you make me so happy saying that.
Good.
Continue.
Really, no, they are fantastic. I love the wet surprise, the breathing underwater. It's just so goofy. And
yeah, it's fun. And also, that was this guy Dylan Woodley who created and edited and directed that, and he's very, very talented guy. And then with Julia Masley, also a clown that if you get a chance to see live, it's something special. That's why it's really good. But we created this during COVID. We have zero experience creating film stuff, but like the Squat video and the Salmon King and Outsiders. I saw you watched Outsiders, and I'm happy to see there's something different, and it was just us learning everything. We just used the experience to learn how to edit and hold the camera, and those videos are, for me, I love them so much. And they're a bit different tempo than what you've seen on Britain's Got Talent, if you saw that. But I think they're really beautiful, and I'm so proud that we made that happen with absolutely one single camera and one old computer. I think that's insane. I'm really, really happy. Yeah. Outsiders, for example, is like, it didn't really pop off online or anything, but I think it's so funny and beautiful in its own way.
It is. It's absolutely wonderful. And I would really strongly recommend folks who are interested in clowning to have a look at Outsiders and all the other ones. I think I chose that one to do the reaction to because it felt the most, the most different from what you were doing in Britain's Got Talent in terms of the pacing, but also just like the pure, the clown. It just had such a lovely clown essence to it. I just thought it was wonderful.
Wow. I mean, you're speaking straight into my heart because obviously millions of people watched the Britain's Got Talent videos, and then this video we created during COVID in like a difficult time, but a theater company kind of like, hey, can you create a video for kids? And you pitched to us what you wanted to do, and we were just like, yeah, we're all stuck inside, all the time, and we are desperate to go outside and see other people, and so that's why we decided to do these super naive characters, and I love doing that so much, and creating that with like that fish costume with no money and stuff. It was
Yeah.
I love that so much. And Julia Masley, her mind fascinates me because I'm good to improvise, and in the moment I feel like that's my strength, but she creates numbers, and like her hour shows is much more beautifully constructed than my hour show. My hour show is a bit chaotic. It's fun, but she has this super innocent, beautiful kind of clown that when you're that innocent, the laughter gets so high because you like the character so much. So I was happy for that fish and Outsiders and those two kind of completely lost characters. That's what I like personally. Also, like in Slava Snow Show, if you've seen.
Yes.
You know how the green clowns that Angela De Castro created there, they're so like creature-like.
Yeah.
It's a clown that's I'm maybe stand-up influenced by stand-up, so my clown is a bit wrapped up into that. But I love the clown who's a creature as well, and completely on a different planet, who just dropped down on Earth and now is looking at you.
Yeah. I just want to point out to folks that Julia also has a really amazing website that you can check out. I think off the top of my head, it's just juliamasley.com.
Yeah, juliamasley.com. And she's also, we taught at Drama Studio London together and Bath University and Gaulier together. So we've been on that teaching journey together. So now we're sometimes here.
She has shows coming up, a lot of shows. She has a show at the Unity Theatre, and of course Edinburgh and clown workshops. And I'm really, really grateful. This is how this works, Viggo. When I interview people, I learn about other people, and this just happens over and over again. Like, I think I even learned about you through one of the other ones that I did.
Maybe.
And I haven't been exposed to Julia's work until I met you and started to learn about you. So I'm very excited to learn about her work and to maybe have her on Clown-versations as well at some point in the future.
Cool.
So, Viggo, I'm gonna let you go and say goodbye. I think this has been a really joyful conversation for me, and I'm seeing all the wonderful positive comments about your energy and the gifts that you've given to the clown community. We're just really excited for you.
And Liverpool in the chat here. People love Liverpool. Me too. We're wearing red for Liverpool today. But I'm. Thank you so much, Barnaby. It was so nice, and talking about clown makes me so happy. And I feel like everyone in the clown community know how every clown around the world, we share this same passion to just spread the happiness, really. And thank you for having me. Really an honor, and super grateful to talk about clown, because that's one of my favorite things to talk about.
Yeah. Well, it's a great achievement, Viggo, and just thank you. Even before the Britain's Got Talent thing, thank you for your work and for your commitment to clowning. And long may it continue. And I'll see you again very soon.
And thanks for watching, guys, and see you soon. And keep doing stupid things and showing it to everyone with vulnerability.
Yes, exactly. All right, bye for now, Viggo. Love that definition of clowning there from Viggo at the end. Keep doing stupid things and showing it to everyone with vulnerability, exactly as he did. And now look at him. I strongly suggest that you go and have a look at Viggo's work on YouTube and on his website, the work that he's done with his collaborators, Julia Masley and others. A really wonderful body of work that he's created. Thanks to Viggo. Thanks to you all for listening.
Please subscribe to our podcast. Help us spread the word far and wide around the world. And of course, as always, keep clowning.